am back. It's the Teacher Says podcast, and this is Says. Today, we're doing a ride-along. Yes, for the first time ever, I'm doing this episode on my commute to work. But I'm dedicated. I'm dedicated to bringing you, if all goes according to plan, 2 episodes back-to-back. In the year 2020, I am dedicated to being consistent with this podcast. So if you already like what you're hearing, stop right now and press that subscribe button, and please leave a 5-star rating via Apple Podcasts. That would be absolutely glorious. And yeah, there's that. So this week we're gonna wrap up our 31 days of hustle. This is the last couple of days in January. I would love to hear how you did. I did pretty well, My goal was to make a certain amount every week, and for the most part, if I didn't meet it, I was pretty close. I made a lot of money with my testimonials, making a few dollars reselling some items on eBay, and definitely throughout the next couple of months, we decided it's time to declutter. So perhaps when the weather warms up, having yet another yard sale. And by yet another, I'm going to clarify and say that I actually had a yard sale back in the fall. It was the first yard sale I had in a long time. And I'll be very blunt, it wasn't really that successful. I totally know why. Everything has to do with marketing. And I did not market the yard sale very well. I only put up a few signs around my neighborhood 2 days, or maybe it was the day before the yard sale. A lot of it was because I was on the fence about having the yard sale at all. So yeah, should I do it? Should I not? Should I do it? And I decided at the last minute to do it. So the turnout, to be quite, honest, was poor. That's my morning yawn. Like I said, I'm on my way to work. And I was like, this yard sale is kind of lacking. So I've had very successful yard sales in the past. In fact, my most successful yard sale happened 2006, when I had to sell pretty much every single article of furniture I had. And no, not even pretty much. It was every single article of furniture that I had, because I was living at the time 3,000 miles away on the West Coast, and it was time to move back to where I grew up on the East Coast. So I knew, like no prisoners, I have to get rid of all this. So that yard sale was successful because I marketed it correctly way in advance, like 2 weeks before the yard sale. I threw signs up, I advertised it on Craigslist, which I'm a little leery of Craigslist now in 2020, but back then I probably should have been leery of it then, but I just was more fearless, I guess you could say. And I went and did that, and I had a very strong turnout. And speaking of Los Angeles, just want to give a moment to commemorate, or to memorize, say rest in peace to Kobe Bryant. It was like, wow, Kobe. I know this is not a sports show, but I lived in Los Angeles for 5 years when the Lakers were at their height, so I'm not a huge basketball fan, but Kobe and Shaq, for 5 years, that dominated my eardrums. We actually have seen the Lakers play our local team, which is the Wizards. I say local like it sounds like a high school team, but the Wizards really haven't done much in the past 40 years. But at any rate, I'm not gonna lie. It doesn't matter what I think. I was more of a Shaq fan than a Kobe fan, but I cannot downplay his dominance when it comes to the Lakers. As Magic Johnson says, he is the greatest Laker ever. So he definitely is going to be the greatest Laker ever now that he's no longer with us. So just want to take a moment to say that, because we've been low in our feelings about Kobe, and especially seeing that he's the same age as I am. So seeing that 1978 to 2020, I'm like, oh, that's not good now. All right, anyway, back to the format of the show. So I hope my volume, my quality of my voice quality, you guys always know I'm a stickler for the audio. That's the word. I couldn't think of the word. That's the thing about doing the show in the morning. This is a little awkward because A, I like doing it in the evening. B, I have never done a ride-along show. So I'm driving to work, trying to navigate traffic and conduct the show. I think so far so good, but we'll see how it turns out. So anyway, on to the next thing. I was speaking of Kobe Bryant. I started the show last season to talk about VIP Kid, and I'd heard it before that Kobe Bryant was an investor in VIP Kid. I saw a video clip of him talking about VIP Kids, as he said in the video clip. I can tell he didn't exactly know exactly the what VIP Kid was. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. I think he had a gist of it, but it was just kind of funny hearing him talk about it. I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of what had the show come into fruition with VIP Kid. So let's talk. Next topic is virtual assistant work. So, like I mentioned before, that's something I'm interested in. I would love to have a virtual assistant on the show, and that's definitely in the works. And I realized when I play back the video of the audio of the show how much I said definitely, so I'm trying my best not to say it. But at any rate, sorry, like I said, I'm doing the show plus driving, and this is frustrating. But anyway, I have mentioned virtual assistants, so I've tried to, there's no try, you either do or you don't, let me not say the word try, but I have built a portfolio on Upwork, gaining a little familiarity with Upwork, kind of familiar with it. I've done Upwork before, as far as put ads and found people on Upwork, so I have to say, a lot of the stuff is me, because I'm trying my best to not go on about how busy I am, but here we go. Yeah, you all know already. If you've been listening to pod, you know how I go on my rant about, I'm so busy, whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. At this point, I'm tired of talking about it. We already know. But, every time, and I feel like at times I just have my hand in too many pots. I'm like, let me focus on things that I want to focus on. So, like I said, in the year 2020, the podcast, I realized, hey, my ratings are going up. I'm getting more listens. Yay, clap, golf clap, whatever. So I said, let me go ahead and focus more on that. So here we are. So like I said, I'm kind of building things up for when I have a period of time off. Like I've mentioned before, I'm a teacher. So the next long, period that I have off is spring break. Right now I'm stacking money, so it's not like I'm going anywhere. I'm in debt, trying to pay down credit cards, the drill. In addition to that, I'm going to bring up, I think every single episode for the past 3 or 4 episodes, I've brought up Dave Ramsey. I'm heavily contemplating attending his Financial Peace University. I got information about that. The only thing that I'm not thrilled about... Oh, actually, no, rewind. I was going to say I'm not thrilled about the fact that it's after work, because I don't do... I've taken classes. I've went and got my master's degree after work, so it's tiring. And it's funny, because I was just about to say it's going to cost me money, because I understand... I hate saying that, like, cost me money, but it is. I know that you have to pay for the Financial Peace University kit, and I didn't click on the link to find out how much it was. I believe it's fairly reasonable. When I say reasonable, I'm thinking under $100. I'm hoping that's the case. If I have a moment today at work, usually which is during my lunch hour, or lunch half hour to be honest, I'll go and click on the link and see how much it costs. But I was about to fix my mouth to say that I would have to pay for babysitting, but I just recalled when I mentioned it, when I was looking at the information on the website, that the place where I'm going to go, they're going to provide childcare. So that might be a huge plus, and I just might have to get my butt over there and get into the program, because like I said, this season 2 is all about my adventures of getting out of debt. And I think Financial Peace University, even though it costs money to get in to Financial Peace University, I'm sure it will do well in getting me out of this debt that I found myself in. In addition to that, I'm ending, even though January is not quite over yet, knock on wood, I might end the month with having a surplus in my checking account. And I'm sure for most people that's good. But for me, that's especially good because I usually end the month pretty darn broke. It doesn't help that we had 3 pay periods. Ooh, excuse me. Morning again. Anyway, 3 pay periods in the month of January. So that's really helpful in trying to pay off some things and get some things down, etc., etc. So then there's that. So I'm pretty excited about January, looking into February. I've always felt very conflicted about February. Because February is the shortest month of the year. February is Black History Month. I'm sure by now, if you're not figured out, I am a black person. It sounds funny saying, but it's true. Anyway, and then February is my birthday month, which is funny because I've never liked having my birthday in February. It's not like I have a say, I get that, but I don't like cold weather at all, and to have a birthday in a cold weather month, it's not fun. I'm going to put it out there. I've always wanted to have a birthday party. I have not had a birthday party since I was 21 years old. That was a long time ago. But, my thing about birthday parties, especially if you're born in February, it's cold. You never know what the weather's going to be like. I've had birthdays where I straight up had blizzard, like stuck in the house because we couldn't go anywhere. I remember when, I think it was the year 2010 maybe. My birthday fell on the Super Bowl, which is not unusual. It happens frequently. And it snowed and snowed and snowed and snowed. And we got stuck in the house like a real blizzard. I mean, real from Maryland, I should say. Because as I said before, I'm from Maryland. We have blizzards here occasionally. But then when I talk to somebody from a state that's even colder, your snow isn't like our snow, whoopty whoopty whoop. And then, I can't be critical on that because I do the same thing to people in North Carolina. No slander to North Carolina, but when it snows in North Carolina, I'm like, what is this? This is not snow. And I'm sure people in New York, have that same mentality towards us, especially upstate. But at any rate, moving forward. So like I said, we have January, February, March to stack them chips and make that money and slowly but surely get out of the debt. Yeah. Alright. And moving on. Let's see. I think I pretty much covered everything I wanted to cover today. This is definitely going to be a shorter episode. Like I mentioned before, this is my ride-along episode. So, in addition to trying to concentrate on traffic, I'm talking to you all. I love talking to you all. Traffic I can deal with. I'm good at multitasking, but this is the first time I've done both, so it's very awkward for me. But there's that. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the show today. Hopefully I'll make do with my promise of being consistent, and this show will come out when I want it to come out, which is soon, in the next 24 hours, and there's that. So this is Seth's podcast. Make sure you subscribe and rate, and additionally you can see anything else that was talked about in the show today down there in the show notes. Talk to you later. Bye bye.